One poem from America, titled as America. This was in the year 2000. This particular day is so vivid to me, like it's happening right now. About three of us, we were kind of camped out in a small place on the Center Hill Lake in Tennessee. Center Hill Lake is a reservoir. The lake has a shoreline of over 700 miles. If you take a boat out, you can just get lost for days and not find your way back. So there was a beautiful place which one of our meditators owned at that time, and very graciously they offered it to us. And we were working on something, so we went and stayed there for a few days. Around this fabulous home, there were some real tall trees, wild, untouched forest area. And alone I ventured off into these steep slopes, and I was just struck by what I saw there. And this poem is a consequence of that. It's titled as America. The brooding darkness of these woods fed upon the native blood. In the twisted tangle of the fallen wood, the spirit of the fallen Indian stood. The brooding darkness of these woods fed upon the native blood. In the twisted tangle of the fallen wood, the spirit of the fallen Indian stood. O brothers, your identity a mistake, those who oceans crossed did make. The greed for gold and land laid waste the spirit of wisdom and grace. O brothers, your identity a mistake, those who oceans crossed did make. The greed for gold and land laid waste the spirit of wisdom and grace. The children of those who by murder did take are taintless of their forefathers' mistake, but those who lived fed upon the milk of courage and pride stand as spirits of defeat and shame. The children of those who by murder did take are taintless of their forefathers' mistake, but those who lived fed upon the milk of courage and pride stand as spirits of defeat and shame. O the murdered and the murderous, embrace me, let me set your spirits to rest. O the murdered and the murderous, embrace me, let me set your spirits to rest. This poem is a consequence of a man who stood still probably for over 300 or 400 years, someone who was trusted by one who has a certain position of being a chief or whatever. Someone whose duty and bond to keep another who was of some significance safe and well. And when that which was entrusted to you, you could not fulfill and failed in keeping what was most precious to you alive, he just stood there in shame and remorse, which cannot be expressed in words. He just stood there forever. The man died, the body fell and became a part of the earth around him. But a frozen spirit just stood there for centuries. when I walked down these mountains, when I walked down this steep slope, and here he was still standing. And probably it's one of the most painful moments I've experienced in my life. I have learned to always transform pain into a possibility. Since then, I did many things in the region. And of course, one of the things is to set up the III or the Isha Institute of Inner Sciences on the Trail of Tears. Historically, this is a region which has seen tremendous amount of pain. It is known as the Trail of Tears. A whole tribe was made to walk from east of Mississippi River to what is presently Oklahoma. The adults, along with their children and elderly, had to walk, and when they walked, the old people died. The Native Americans are so particular about preserving their dead and the spaces for the dead, so they could not leave them. They carried their bodies and walked. The bodies rotted, but they carried rotting bodies and walked and walked. So this is known as the Trail of Tears, which is where we set up our Isha Center. And those who have been there for the last 7-8 years, since we stepped on that land, they can clearly feel what we have done to that space in terms of its energy, how brooding and painful it used to be just to enter that space, and today how it is. Well, still many more things to be done. I'm in a little bit of a hurry to set up the Adiyogi temple, because once we have a powerful consecrated space, it will take on a charge of its own. So that's about America.